The truth comes to me at 3 a.m., in the dark of Alexander's bedroom wrapped in expensive sheets in his arms. I sit up so fast he wakes instantly, warrior alert despite his healing body. What is it? The flowers, I breathe. Victoria didn't send the flowers. He's already reaching for his phone, turning on the light. Explain. She called you darling. She was possessive, angry, jealous. If she wanted you dead, she'd want credit. She'd want you to know it was her. I'm pacing now, the pieces falling into place. But the lilies, they were elegant, thoughtful, the kind of gift someone sends when they care. Or want you to think they care. Go on. He's watching me like I'm speaking prophecy. Who benefits from both of you dead? Who gains from your death and gets away with murder by making Victoria the scapegoat? His face changes. Marcus, your business partner? My only heir if I die without children. He's up now, moving fast despite everything. He's been pushing me to finalize the succession plan to sign over certain assets. I kept delaying, because something felt wrong. I couldn't prove it, but he looks at me. I learn to trust when things feel wrong. I move to him, take his hands. What do we do? If Victoria's dead and you're still alive, he'll try again. No. His grip tightens. He won't get the chance, because I'm going to give him exactly what he wants. What? His smile is sharp and dangerous. A funeral to attend. The plan is insane. Brilliant and insane. Alexander Crane dies at 8:42 a.m. from complications related to acute kidney failure. The announcement goes out through official channels. Dr. Chen, complicit in our scheme, signs the death certificate. I'm photographed leaving the brownstone in tears, not acting, because the risk of this, the danger, it's real. Marcus attends the private viewing, appropriately somber. He doesn't notice me standing in the shadows dressed as catering staff, invisible again by choice. But I notice everything. I notice how his grief doesn't reach his eyes. I notice the single white lily in his lapel, tasteful, elegant, damning. I notice when he steps aside to make a phone call. Voice low, it's done. The shares transfer tomorrow. Yes, including the offshore accounts. I notice when he thinks no one's watching and his expression shifts to something cold and satisfied. I notice, because that's what invisible people do. The funeral is invitation only, held in a private chapel Alexander's family has used for generations. Black suits and black dresses and black hearts. I'm there again, serving drinks, refilling glasses unseen. Marcus gives a eulogy. It's beautiful, eloquent, completely hollow, and then, thank you, Marcus. That was touching. Alexander steps out from behind the altar, very much alive, flanked by federal agents. The room erupts. Marcus goes pale, then red, then pale again. What? How? The lilies were Casablanca lilies, not Easter lilies, Alexander says conversationally. Highly specific. Hard to find. Only one florist in Manhattan carries them year-round. The same florist you've used for every corporate gift for the past 5 years. They keep records. Marcus's eyes dart to the exits. The agents move closer. Victoria was sloppy, vengeful, obvious, Alexander continues. You were counting on that. Counting on me suspecting her. You sent the flowers through her account. Easy enough when you were sleeping with her and had access to her passwords. You knew she'd threaten me when we broke up. You made her the perfect suspect. You can't prove anything. Actually, I step forward, pulling out my phone. I can. Every head turns. I'm visible now, undeniably visible. You called someone from the viewing, I say quietly, about offshore accounts and share transfers. I recorded it. And I also found the texts between you and Victoria, on her phone, which the police recovered. The ones where you told her exactly what to say to Alexander. The ones where you promised her you'd be together after he was gone. Marcus lunges. Alexander moves faster, blocking me, and the agents have Marcus on the ground in seconds. You destroyed everything, Marcus screams as they cuff him. You had everything and you threw it away for what? For her, a maid? Alexander's arm slides around my waist. For the woman who saw what you were when everyone else was blind, yes, for her. They take Marcus away. The room slowly empties. Stunned guests, satisfied agents relieve Dr. Chen, until it's just us in the empty chapel, surrounded by flowers that aren't lilies, so, I say softly, you faked your death for me. I faked my death for justice. He turns me to face him. But I came back to life for you. That's a terrible line. I know. He smiles, and it's the first real smile I've seen from him, Boyish, free, unpracticed. I'm better at hostile takeovers than romance. You'll have to teach me. I'm still just Elena. He silences me with a kiss. You're the woman who saved my life, solved my murder, and saw me when I was invisible to myself. You're the woman I want to build a life with. Not because it makes sense on paper, not because it's expected, but because when I'm with you, I remember how to be human. Tears slide down my cheeks. I'm terrified. Of what? Of how much I want this, want you, of how fast everything changed. Death has a way of clarifying things. His thumbs brush away my tears. I almost lost everything because I wasn't paying attention. I won't make that mistake again. What happens now? Now? He considers this. Now I teach you that being seen doesn't mean losing yourself. Now you teach me that being human doesn't mean being weak. Now we figure out how to build something real in a world that tried to kill us both. That's a lot of now. We have time. He kisses me again, slow and deep and full of promise. For the first time in 10 years, I have nothing but time. No company to build, I'm stepping down as CEO. No reputation to maintain, I'm officially dead and resurrected. No expectations to meet. What will you do? Travel, read, make terrible coffee. Learn who I am when I'm not Alexander Crane, billionaire. He pauses. With you. If you want. I think about my studio apartment in Queens, my 3 jobs, my invisible life. I think about seeing the world with someone who finally sees me. I want. I whisper. He lifts me, and I wrap my legs around his waist and we're kissing like we're both coming back to life. Outside the chapel, photographers wait. The death and resurrection of Alexander Crane will be tomorrow's headlines. But inside, we're just 2 people who almost died but chose to live instead. Thank you, he murmurs against my lips. For what? For noticing the flowers. For saving my life. For being impossible to unsee. I smile against his mouth. Thank you for finally looking. We leave the chapel together, walking into flashing cameras and shouted questions and a future neither of us planned. But we're not invisible anymore, and we're not alone. And somehow, against every odd, we're alive. Sometimes, the people no one sees are the ones who see everything. Sometimes, the man who has everything needs to lose it all to find what matters. Sometimes love doesn't make sense on paper. Sometimes that's exactly the point. I never thought I'd become the kind of woman who gets her revenge served cold at a high school reunion. But here I am, standing in the middle of the Riverside Hotel ballroom, my chest tight, my face burning, watching my ex-husband Brandon tell a circle of our former classmates that I'm still exactly what I expected. Average. He says it with that condescending smile I used to kiss goodnight. The same smile that told me I wasn't pretty enough, successful enough to keep him interested. The laughter ripples through the group like I'm the punchline to a joke I didn't know I was part of. Someone, Melissa Cooper, I think, actually covers her mouth like she's trying to contain her amusement. I want to disappear. I want to run. I want to rewind 10 years and tell my 22-year-old self not to marry the man who made me feel small every single day of our marriage. But I don't move. I'm 32 now. Divorced for 3 years. I work as a freelance graphic designer, which apparently doesn't count as a real career in Brandon's world. He's a mid-level manager at his father's car dealership. He's wearing a suit that's slightly too tight and cologne that smells like he's trying to convince himself he's impressive. His new girlfriend, fiancée, I heard, is draped on his arm like an accessory. She's younger, blonder, thinner. Everything I wasn't, I should leave. Instead, I take a breath and force myself to smile. I'm doing just fine, Brandon. Sure you are. He laughs, glancing at his audience. Still drawing little pictures on your laptop, huh? The words sting more than they should. I open my mouth to respond, but nothing comes out. My throat feels like it's closing, and then I feel it. A presence behind me. Warm. Solid. Commanding. A hand settles on the small of my back, and the touch sends a shock of awareness through my entire body. I know that touch. I've felt it every day for the past year. Steady. Protective. Impossible to ignore. Sorry I'm late, darling. His voice is low, smooth, unmistakable. It rolls over me like velvet and steel. I don't have to turn around to know who it is, but I do anyway, tilting my head back to meet his eyes. Alexander Hale. 6'3". Dark hair that's slightly tousled like he just stepped off a private jet, which, knowing him, he probably did. His jaw is sharp enough to cut glass, and his eyes, those storm gray eyes, are fixed on me with an intensity that makes my knees weak. He's wearing a black suit tailored so perfectly it probably costs more than my car. No tie, top button undone, effortlessly devastating. He smiles at me, and it's the kind of smile that makes you forget how to breathe. "You look beautiful," he murmurs, leaning down to press a kiss to my temple. His lips linger just long enough to make my pulse race. The ballroom goes silent. I watch Brandon's face drain of color. His mouth opens, then closes. His fiancée stares at Alexander like she's just seen a god walk into the room. Who? Brandon stammers. Alexander's hand stays on my back, possessive and grounding. He doesn't even glance at Brandon. His focus is entirely on me, like I'm the only person in this room who matters. "Are you ready to go?" he asks softly. "Our table's waiting." I nod, not trusting my voice. He guides me away from the group, his hand warm and steady against my spine. I can feel every eye in the room following us, and I don't look back. We don't speak until we're outside. The night air is cool against my flushed skin, and I realize I'm shaking. Not from cold, from adrenaline, from anger, from the sheer absurdity of what just happened. Alexander stops beside a sleek black car that's idling at the curb, and I recognize it immediately. His driver, Marcus, nods at us from the front seat. "You didn't have to do that," I say quietly. He turns to face me, and the look in his eyes makes my breath catch. "Yes, I did. Alexander, he humiliated you." His voice is calm, controlled, but there's an edge beneath it. A dangerous edge. In front of a room full of people. "Did you really think I was going to let that slide?" I shake my head. "I didn't even tell you about this reunion. You mentioned it last week. Said you weren't sure if you'd go." He reaches up, tucking a strand of hair behind my ear. The gesture is so intimate, so familiar, it makes my chest ache. I had Marcus track the event, just in case, and I laugh and it comes out shaky. That's slightly terrifying. I prefer the term prepared. His lips curve into a faint smile. "Are you angry with me?" I should be. This is classic Alexander. Overprotective, overbearing, always 5 steps ahead. But standing here looking up at him, I can't find it in me to be upset. No, I admit. I'm relieved. Something shifts in his expression. He steps closer, and suddenly the space between us feels impossibly small. I can smell his cologne, cedar and something darker, more intoxicating. My pulse quickens. "Good." His voice drops lower. Because watching him speak to you like that, watching him make you feel less than you are, it took everything in me not to drag him outside and make him apologize on his knees. The image sends a jolt of heat through me. "You wouldn't. Try me." We stare at each other, the air between us crackling with tension. This is dangerous territory. We've been dancing around this line for months, ever since the night I knocked on his door, drenched from the rain, asking if he'd reconsider hiring me to redesign his company's branding. He'd said yes. Then he'd offered me a contract that changed my life. Then he'd started finding excuses to see me. Dinners to discuss the project, coffees that turned into hours-long conversations, late-night texts that had nothing to do with work, and somewhere along the way I fell for him. "We should go back inside," I say, even though I don't move. "Do you want to?" "No." "Then we won't." He opens the car door, gesturing for me to get in. "Come with me." "Where?" "Somewhere better than this." His eyes hold mine. "Trust me." I shouldn't. I should go back inside, face my past, prove that I don't need him to rescue me. But God, I want to trust him. I want to disappear into this car and let him take me somewhere I don't have to pretend I'm okay. So I do. He takes me to his penthouse. I've been here before, dozens of times actually, but tonight feels different. The city glitters below us through floor-to-ceiling windows, and the space feels more intimate than it ever has. Alexander pours us both a glass of wine, something expensive and French that I can't pronounce, and we stand on his balcony overlooking the skyline. "Tell me about him," he says after a moment. I don't want to. I don't want Brandon's shadow anywhere near this moment. But Alexander's looking at me like he genuinely wants to know, so I tell him. We met in college. Got married too young. He made me feel like I was never quite good enough. Not pretty enough, not successful enough, not interesting enough. I spent 5 years trying to be the woman he wanted, and it still wasn't enough. I'd take a sip of wine. When he left, I felt like I was drowning. Like I'd wasted the best years of my life on someone who didn't even see me. He's an idiot. I laugh softly. Maybe. Not maybe. Alexander sets his glass down, turning to face me fully. He had you and he let you go. That makes him the biggest fool I've ever encountered. My heart stutters. Alexander, do you know what I see when I look at you? He steps closer and I have to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. I see someone brilliant, creative, strong enough to rebuild her entire life from scratch. Beautiful in a way that makes it hard to focus on anything else when you're in the room. You're my client. I'm your friend. His hand comes up to cup my face, his thumb brushing across my cheekbone. And I'm also the man who's been falling for you since the night you showed up at my door. Soaking wet and refusing to give up. The world tilts. You can't. I can. His voice is rough now, raw. I do, and I think you feel it too. I do. God, I do. I've felt it every time he looks at me. Every time he touches my hand or says my name like it's something sacred. This is a bad idea, I whisper. Probably the worst. He leans down, his forehead resting against mine. Tell me to stop. I don't. Instead, I close the distance between us and kiss him. It's soft at first, tentative, testing. But then his hands are in my hair, pulling me closer, and the kiss deepens into something desperate and consuming. He tastes like wine and want, and I can't get enough. My back hits the glass door and he presses against me, his body solid and warm and perfect. When we finally break apart, we're both breathing hard. Emma. He murmurs against my lips. Yeah, I'm not letting you go. Before I can respond, his phone buzzes. He curses under his breath, pulling it out. His expression shifts immediately, from heated to cold in an instant. What is it? I ask. Your ex-husband, he says slowly, showing me the screen. He just posted about you online. The post is brutal. Brandon's written some long-winded rant about how I'm clinging to wealthy men now, how I'm desperate for validation, how I've changed since our divorce and not in a good way. It's already been shared dozens of times. Comments are pouring in. My stomach drops. He's lying, I say, my voice shaking. I know. Alexander's voice is dangerously calm. And he's about to regret it. What are you going to do? He doesn't answer. Instead, he makes a phone call. I can only hear his side of the conversation, but it's enough. I want every business dealing he's involved in audited. Every loan, every contract, every handshake agreement. If there's anything questionable, I want to know about it. No, I don't care if it's aggressive. He made this personal. By morning, he hangs up. I stare at him. Alexander, you can't. I can. He turns to me and there's something fierce in his eyes. Something protective and possessive and utterly uncompromising. No one gets to treat you like that, not him. Not anyone. This is too much. It's not enough. He closes the distance between us, framing my face with his hands. Emma, I meant what I said. I'm not letting you go. And that means I'm not letting anyone hurt you. Not without consequences. My chest tightens. Why? Because you're mine. The words hit me like a shockwave. I'm not. You are. His thumb brushes across my bottom lip. Maybe not officially. Maybe not in any way that makes sense. But you've been mine since the moment you walked into my life and refused to be intimidated by me. Since you challenged me and made me laugh and made me feel like I was more than just my bank account. Tears prick at my eyes. I didn't mean to. I know. He kisses me again, softer this time. But you did. And now I'm all in. Completely. Irrevocably. So tell me, are you? I should say no. I should protect myself, guard my heart. Remember what happened last time I gave someone this much power over me. But Alexander isn't Brandon. And I'm not the same woman I was 10 years ago. Yes, I whisper. His smile is devastating. Good, because I have a plan. Part 5. The Perfect Revenge. The next morning, Brandon's world starts to unravel. It begins with a call from his bank, apparently. There are irregularities in his business accounts. Then his father's dealership gets contacted by an auditing firm. Then a journalist reaches out about some questionable sales practices. By noon, the post about me has been deleted. By evening, Brandon calls me. I almost don't answer. Emma, his voice is strained. We need to talk. About what? Look, I'm sorry, okay? I shouldn't have said those things. I was drunk and And you humiliated me in front of everyone we used to know. Silence. Who is he? Brandon asks finally. Your new guy. Who is he? I smile even though he can't see it. Someone who actually values me. Emma. Goodbye, Brandon. I hang up. Alexander finds me on the balcony an hour later, staring out at the city. He wraps his arms around me from behind, pulling me against his chest. How are you feeling? He murmurs into my hair, free, I admit. Lighter. Like I just closed a chapter I should have finished years ago. Good. He presses a kiss to my shoulder, because I'm planning to keep you very busy with the next one. I turn in his arms, looping mine around his neck. Oh, and what does that chapter look like? His eyes darken with heat. It starts with me taking you to Paris next week, introducing you to my board as the woman I'm dating, making it very, very clear that you're not just my designer. You're mine in every way that matters. That sounds presumptuous. It's a statement of fact. His hands settle on my hips, possessive and sure. Unless you're planning to argue, I pretend to consider it. I might, just to see what you'd do. I'd convince you. He leans down, his lips hovering just above mine, very thoroughly, very slowly, until you forgot how to say anything but yes. Heat floods through me. That's a bold claim, Mr. Hale. Then let me prove it, Ms. Chen. He kisses me deep and slow and perfect, and I melt into him. This man, this impossible, overprotective, brilliant man, has given me back something I thought I'd lost forever. My sense of self. My confidence. My belief that I deserve to be cherished. And as the city lights shimmer below us and his arms tighten around me, I realize something. This isn't just revenge. This is my second chance at everything, and I'm never looking back.